Good evening, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Collaboration Culture Podcast. I am your host, Kimberly Winborn. My company is Kimberly Winborn LLC. For those of you who are joining for the first time, we are talking wealth. Let's Talk Wealth is the series that we have been managing this past month, January 2023. I am excited this evening to be joined by one of my business partners who has been in the finance industry for quite some time. I'm going to bring him on right now. Good
Hello, hello.
Hello, good evening, James. Welcome to the Collaboration Culture Podcast. You've been here.
Yeah, I've been here. It's good to be back.
Yes, yes. So I want to be sure that I'm clear everywhere. So let me check that out. And while I do that, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Um, for those who don't know me, again, my name is James Branch. I'm right here in Raleigh, North Carolina. I've been here 30 plus years. I am a graduate of Fayetteville State University, a criminal justice major, and I been in the finance industry, like Kim mentioned. I spent about 18 years there. Most of it was within 5 counties of Wake County in various areas, helping people figure it out. Looking at life insurance, looking at annuities, looking at taxes, trying to find solutions that made sense so that they could live better and do better day in and day out. So did that a while and had fun doing it, and it helped a lot of people. And what I
Awesome. Go ahead.
and what I currently do now is I still help people. I have people all the time ask me for advice and opinions and guidance. I think I've spent most of my life giving direction to helping folks. I really found that I enjoy doing that. But I have a digital marketing agency, and I'm into videography and streaming and website designs, and just a touch. I stay in touch with Kim and her guests and people, and we talk about money. We talk about how to live better. So I always got my hand in it because I want to help people do better, live better today. And tomorrow is great, but today is very important to me.
Absolutely. And one of the things that you didn't mention is that when I first started in the finance industry many, many years ago, you were one of the people who I worked with early on. And we also had a credit repair company together. So, for those of you who knew me to have a credit repair company, James Branch is the gentleman who I was in partnership with. So he knows a lot about a lot when it comes to finance. So for those of you who are catching us live now or watching the replay, be sure to let us know where you're watching from, what questions you may have around the area of finance. And then if you know of anyone, especially an entrepreneur, a person who is trying to start over in their finances and whatever every ever area of life, or every area of finance, then we want them to tune in tonight. The last two series where I've been on have been great. We also had a guest the first week of January. That was absolutely amazing. And the feedback that I've gotten has been really great. And I've been able to actually sit down with some people to go through some financial analysis, to go through some credit information to be able to help them. And so hopefully tonight will be just as powerful. So go ahead and share with someone as we continue. The first question that we are going to discuss, first thing we're going to discuss, what is financial freedom? Because one of the things that a lot of people define as freedom, it's not the same for others. And so when it comes to money, financial freedom is different for everyone. For somebody, it could be to retire. That's financial freedom and not have to worry about paying any bills at all. For somebody else, it could be something totally different. So, what is financial freedom? James, in your opinion, what is financial freedom?
Financial freedom, as you mentioned, it means a lot of different things to a lot of people. But what it should mean is having a question. How are you going to send your kids to school? How are you going to pay for your car? How are you going to live day in and day out, waking up worried about it? If you find yourself in that situation, then the road that you're traveling on is probably not the right one. But how do you get off of it? And that's what we're going to be talking about today. Some ideas about correcting your direction, finding a better way, a new way, and being open to doing something different that you haven't done before. If you can do that, then you can look at what it means to be rich and what it means to be wealthy as it relates to you, because hopefully it brings you more happiness, it brings you joy and peace. And I guarantee you that's going to bring longevity because you're probably going to live a little longer.
Absolutely. And I was reading an article about this and listening to some financial gurus in relation to financial freedom. And for many, what financial freedom equates to is being able to have paid off all of your debt, being able to also have a savings account established, which an emergency fund, retirement, all of those things are under that, and being able to travel, live your dreams, live the life that you want. And so that is what many financial experts consider financial freedom. I know for many others, it's just, I'm free if I could just pay off this student loan. I'm free if I can just pay off my mortgage. And so but for most, it's removing the debt. But one of the things that we want to talk about tonight is debt. Um, Debt and then also credit. We want to talk about the benefits of debt, so that good debt versus that bad debt, right? So let's talk a little bit about that, because credit is, I was reading some numbers I shared earlier this week about inflation, and the credit debt is going up. That consumer credit debt is increasing, included, coupled with the other necessary debt. So those things are increasing, but the savings numbers are actually decreasing. So we're spending more and we're getting ourselves into more debt, but we're not saving at the same pace. What can we do, James, in order to balance that out a little bit more, to be prepared in the future for what's ahead, whatever is to come? But then also, how can we begin to try to understand how credit can work for us as opposed to how it's working against us?
Well, one thing for sure, what good credit is not is the ability to go buy a nice car when you want to, get a big house, one bigger than you need, to buy things that are associated with luxury and nice to have, and you get them just because you have the credit to do that. I think we have to look at credit as a means to improving our situation when we don't have cash, when we're talking about looking at doing a business, looking at something that creates income by being able to fund that idea or that concept using credit. But if we use credit just to buy things, just to travel, just to have things, we're going to find ourselves in a hole that is so deep and it's going to be very difficult to climb out of. So I often tell people, let's get your credit together and let's look at how we can leverage that credit to do some things that you thought about doing when you were young, to do some things when you talk about dreams that you had when you were a young person. Let's revisit those things. Let's figure out a way that we can start working towards living that life that you've always talked about when you were young, but now you've forgotten about it because you're in that hustle and bustle of just trying to make it, try to manage these cards. You're working two, three jobs and still doing the same thing. More credit cards on top of credit cards, hanging with the Joneses and buying nice things. It's just not the way to go. We have to turn that thinking around and start thinking long term, thinking about ways to increase our income. Because if you got enough income or more income, you might need a little less credit.
Yeah, and that's a great point. I want to talk about that next. How can we? I was reading an article and also, as I mentioned, studying another financial guru, and or studying a financial guru, and the side hustle. So you were just talking about how people are using credit cards in order to sustain their lives, which is true. We're getting into more bad debt in order to sustain our lives, in order to, as many people call it, keep up with the Joneses. But some people are actually in situations where credit is helping them to just stay afloat, right? Credit is helping them because maybe they've lost a job, maybe COVID came through and they were making a specific amount of money, but there were layoffs and they're in a different situation. And we won't go into the whole budgeting, savings, having an emergency fund in this particular conversation, but we will focus on how people can do something in order to get out of that hole that we often find ourselves in, so that we can make that extra money to rebuild our finances. I really want to talk about rebuilding our finances. And one of the things that I know that you really love to talk about is the resources that are available to us. And I really love talking about how people can get a side hustle. They can become an entrepreneur, whether it's a big business or small business, but use their gifts or skills in order to bring in some money into the household. So let's talk a bit about that, James. How in this industrial revolution can people gain more income in their homes in order to get out of these holes that we've sunk into as a result of COVID or other situations?
Um, over the past years, I have ran into so many people that when you talk about conversations of doing something outside of work, getting a business started, looking at something that's related to direct sales, looking at something that is a franchise opportunity, or even owning their very own business, they become petrified. They are
Mm-hmm.
afraid of those conversations. No one in their family has ever owned a business. No one has ever done it before, and that's not a reason not to look at it. And we have to come outside of that box in order to look at making changes that's going to better our life, because the chances of that your job is going to give you an additional 50,000 or $100,000 a year is probably not going to happen. In most cases, you're just not going to get into that type of situation, and you're certainly not going to work a part-time job and get there either. So
Mm-hmm.
we have to be open to doing things that we haven't done before. And
Mm-hmm.
and a lot of cases is programming. We
Yeah.
have something working against us because
Mm-hmm.
no one that we know is doing it. No one in our family is doing it.
Mm-hmm.
My best friend is not doing it, and we're not comfortable doing it either.
Mm-hmm.
And we have to turn around and tune in to some people that say you can, that are willing to teach you how to do it, that are willing to show you how to do it. And if you can just open your mind for a moment and give it a try, there are lots of things out here that we can do that can add an additional 300, 500, and $1,000 a month residually.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, one of the things that to your point of oftentimes your employer is not going to add to your economy, to your personal economy, but a lot of times people do not go to their employers as that first opportunity at a side hustle. And so, that's the first step. If you're working a job and you've been there a while and you, in your heart of hearts, know that you are deserving of a raise, there is a way. And I was listening to the Budgetanista, I believe it was. I was listening to somebody. I listened to a whole bunch of different people, and they were talking about going and building your personal resume by keeping a portfolio. And so when you go into the office of the employer, you can have a record of success that you've built for the company, a record of success behind you, to be able to say, I'm worthy of a raise, I'm worthy of a new position. And so that's the first side hustle. But then back to using your gifts, talents, and skills. Like, one of the things that I really love to do as a part of my consulting is sit down with people to vision build, like to really think through what are the tools and the skills that you have before you, the gifts, the talents, to be able to help you to make some money. Back to what you were saying. And what I want to ask you to talk about is some of the resources. So once I sit with them and help them to think through how they can get more money into their household, baking cakes, mowing the lawn, walking dogs, all of these different things. For everybody is different. After that, then what are the resources and tools that they have at their disposal, that we have at our disposal, even free, in order to now get this business out to the public? That's what I want you to talk about and really focus on, especially being in the digital space.
Okay. Now, I do want you to give me a couple categories because really I do have a lot of things that I could
Just go
cover,
ahead.
and I want to keep it narrow.
No, just like I don't want to give you the categories because this is your
Okay.
area of expertise. So like I know you do help with web development. So whatever your area of expertise is, that is what I want you to talk about.
Okay. Um, for those of you who are thinking about what we're discussing seriously, I want you to know that there is a way that you can add income just by doing a few things. And one, again, opening your mind. But we're talking about marketing opportunities. I'm talking about if you know someone that's ever shared their vision about, working from home, the tax advantages. Um, Maybe engage that person a little bit about what it is that they're doing. And I
Mhm.
got to tell, I work with a lot of people that are very successful in network marketing, direct sales. Sometimes it's a word that's like it's one of those things. Let me tell you, it's not true. It is so untrue. And when it comes to having your own website, for instance, if you have something that you want to sell online, maybe you're good at baking, maybe you're good at, as a real estate agent, but you don't have a website. It's one thing to have a website, it's what I always tell people, but being able to actually be seen online, that's important because we do have to work smart and utilize our money and make it count. So we can't operate in the dark when it comes to investing in tools to be seen online. And that's what my company does. We make sure that you get traffic. We make sure that people know about you. We make sure that in voice searches, when people search, hairstylers near me, that you show up on their phone because you're within 3 or 4 or 5 miles of that location. But it's things like that that technology is very affordable in a lot of cases. So when you think about going into business, you got to think about marketing. You got to think about how can I be seen, who's going to find me, who's going to call me, and then what about those people that you had something burning inside that I wonder if I could do it. I always thought this would be a great business opportunity. I encourage you to talk to somebody because the time period that we're in right now, I mean, everything is up for grab because of technology. We can do so many things with very little money in most cases, and not a whole lot of credit is going to hold. I mean, credit's not going to hold you back, having it or not having it, because we're talking about some things that are just a few dollars a month, some things are free, and you can begin. I think just taking that step in that direction and be willing to give it a try and see what happens, and get with somebody, get with a mentor, tune into this program, because I know I listen to people that are doing the daggone thing and doing it well, and there are people that are willing to share. I mean, you can't get it all by yourself, but direct sales, multi-level marketing, a traditional home-based business, and like Kim said, going to your employer and asking, hey, is there a way that I can get a promotion? Is there a way? I hadn't had a raise in a while. I used to be in the corporate America, and I became a rebel, and I just said I'm gonna be done with it. 2005, I hadn't worked for anybody, and I love waking up when I finish sleeping. Now sometimes I got to get up to do certain things, but having that freedom, watching the kids grow, I'm sharing this with you because it's important, especially those who have families and kids. If you're going to work, don't have it be a drag. Don't have it, be a negative. Make it a positive. Let's look at a way of building our finances so that we enjoy family and kids and relationships and enjoy the kind of life that, I believe Christian people should be living so that we can attract more people to the body of Christ. I had to put that out there.
So, one of the things that I want to talk about is that idea. So, for those who are watching or might catch the replay, do you have an idea that can make money, but you need that developed? You need somebody to help you develop that. I want you to reach out to me. My website is always at the top, KimberlyWinbornLLC.com. I want you to reach out to me because even if I can't help you to develop that out, there are people in my network who will sit with you to help you develop that out. There are programs that are local. Many people are always looking for resources, right? There are programs that are available to help you to build that out. And sometimes we're stuck and we feel like we can't grow beyond where we are. But what I want to share with you is that I sit down with people all of the time to help them develop out ideas, to get started, to help them get rolling. And then I also connect them to resources because I've said this all the time. I don't know everything and I can't do everything, but I could connect you to resources because it's all about getting to the next level to make more money, to prepare ourselves for what's ahead and what's right now. How many of you have an idea that you know can make you some money? It's something that you love, something that you do all the time. You don't even think about it. I know so many people that have built out something as simple as a new journal, right? That's their book. It's a journal. It's really developing, doing things that they do every day. And now they've monetized it. They've created that into something else that somebody else may want to use, and it's making them money. Hey, good evening, Terrence. How are you? It's making them money. And so, do you have an idea that can make money? That is what we want to discuss with you. And once you get that idea that can make you some money, James was talking about the resources to help you to monetize that, to help you to get visual impact so that people can see what you have at your disposal. So, another component of my company is communications, and there's social media. I have a branding team so they can help develop your brand. So then now when you're out, you're on social media, you're networking, you're meeting with people, you're doing various things, you have a consistent brand that has a congruent message. So it's from step 1 to step 2 to step 3. Then you go to somebody like James to get that website developed so that now you're attracting the people that you target to attract, that SEO is working for you and all these different things that I don't know anything about, but he does. And so that's what this is all about, going from one step to the other in order to not remain in a hopeless situation, but to begin to build towards a hopeful scenario for you to win in 2023, which is what all these shows are about. So if you need more advice, more information, more tools, you have an idea that can make money, but need somebody to help you develop that out, reach out to KimberlyWinbornLLC.com so we can get you plugged in. Okay. So wanted to say that we just talked about how side hustle money can get you out of debt or the money hole. And, you know, a lot of times people look down on folks for having a hustle. I'm going to tell you so many people are making thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars with doing that thing that they enjoy, right? Off to the side. And even if you don't enjoy it, it could be as long as it's as long as it's legal,
Legal.
as long as it's legal, it can be something that's just temporary to help you get to your goals. I know many people that will do seasonal employment, maybe 3-4 months in the summer, what have you, in order to get some extra income to sustain you for the rest of the year. Whatever that is for you, that is something that can be developed out. So we talked about what is financial freedom. All right. If anybody comes to catch the replay, please feel free to define that. What is that for you? We also talked about the credit, uh using other people's money and how that can benefit us, but how we also have to have wisdom when it comes to the credit game, right? Last week we talked about credit quite a bit, and I say we because I had people in the comments. I had a lot of people in the comments. So one of the questions that was brought up, and James was actually in the comments, which is one of the reasons I asked him to join me this week, because he's often in the comments under Kimberly Winborn LLC as my partner answering questions. And so I said, you know what, you should come on see if we have some Q&A tonight so you can live answer those questions. And one of the questions was, how is it that a debit versus credit can build my credit scenario situation? Somebody was trying to rebuild their credit and they were given different advice and they were wondering the difference between debit versus credit. And he answered that the benefits of having a debit card. But what we want to go into this evening is the difference between having a debit card versus a credit card in relation to building your credit. As you all remember last week, I said you can also build your credit without using a credit card, but I want to specifically answer that question. So, James, did you have any more to add to that conversation? Debit
Uh,
versus credit, the benefits. Go ahead.
if you're looking to build your credit, if you're at that point in your life, that's your goal, then a debit card is not going to provide a trackable history to the credit bureau, so they don't know what you're doing really with your debit card.
Mhm.
That's just a fact. But when it's a credit card, if you could use it, for example, let's say to pay your phone bill each month, you want to pay it ahead of time, a few days early before the due date, but use it to pay it every single month on time. And that's going to show activity and responsible management, because you're not, especially if you stay below 30% on your credit card utilization. But that's what that history does. It's showing activity. It's showing that you're using it. You purchase something, you pay for it, and then pretty soon the credit card company will be like, "Wait a minute. I mean, they're doing a good job of managing that account. I need to give them some more money. I need to raise their limit." So your credit limit is increased. Don't take advantage of it right away. Just keep doing what you're doing. Keep your head down, and then that will give you the ability to get an additional card and do the same thing. Put another bill on it. Develop that history of paying on time with those credit cards, and getting I guess getting that track record going, so that people can trust you and lend you more money with your good credit.
Absolutely. So hopefully that answered that question. I am going to be sure that that person tunes in. And I also did, reach out to her to get that answer for her. But one of the misunderstandings is that you have to have a credit card in order to build your credit score. And that is not true. A
Not
lot of
true.
times people put themselves in situations that hurt them. And so, one of the things that we wanted to talk about today is why credit is powerful, yet also dangerous. So, why is credit powerful, but also dangerous? And how is credit powerful and also dangerous? So, I'm going to answer the dangerous part. James,
Go ahead.
you can continue with the powerful if you don't mind. So, why is credit powerful?
Oh, I'm
Go
going
ahead.
first.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Why is credit powerful? I wish I had known this when I was in college. I tell you that that you could actually take a credit profile, increase it, develop lines of credits, and buy a business, start something that costs $200,000-300,000 on credit, and you didn't need money in the bank to do it. You just need great credit,
Mm-hmm.
and nobody taught me that when I was a young person. But with credit, if you manage it well and you develop it, you can do some amazing things where you don't have to borrow money from family, from friends, or try to save it. But you can actually take that credit and start something great, start something that otherwise you wouldn't have the opportunity to do, because maybe you weren't born with a silver
Mm-hmm.
spoon. So it's just not there financially for you to do the things that you want to do. So credit, it can be a lifesaver if used wisely to
Absolutely.
change your life and your
Mm-hmm.
children's life and their
Mm-hmm.
children's life. If somebody will just stand up and do the right thing, then somebody else will follow them, and we can
Mm-hmm.
start a revolution in credit
Yeah.
responsibility.
Yeah. And so, yes, credit is absolutely powerful. I think a lot of times when people talk about or think about credit, they only focus on credit cards. But
Hmm.
credit in itself is a line, an extension of money that is given to you, trusting that you will pay it back. So you think about when we had COVID and many people were out of jobs, businesses were shutting down, many entrepreneurs couldn't go to work. You guys remember that there was an opportunity to fill out information as business owners to get a PPP loan or to get the SBA loan, correct? That SBA loan is almost like a mortgage where you don't have to pay it off for 30 years at a low interest rate of about 3% or what have you. And so that is a credit extension. That is a credit line, right? There are so many other ways to look at credit. And so when you begin to broaden your perspective of how to use credit, how credit can work for you outside of just a credit card, then you go into a different echelon of being able to use it to your advantage. So for you business owners, you want a line of credit in order to be able to purchase more equipment, in order to be able to get a building, for instance. These are examples, right? How we can use a line of credit in order to further our goals and dreams. Now you're paying that thing back. You're building it up to establish a track record of economic trust, right? And so now your business has a foundation in order to grow upon. A lot of times, business owners do not have that opportunity because all we can think about is, I want to get a credit card for my business. I want to get a credit card for my business, right? We got to be thinking beyond that. So, yes, debt can be a good thing. Credit can be a good thing. Lines of credit can absolutely be a good thing, but they can be dangerous put in the wrong mindset, put in the wrong hands. But I want to talk about the benefits of getting financial literacy, getting credit literacy as a focus. Because, like I said a moment ago, the numbers are telling us what's happening. The credit lines, the credit cards, debt, all of that stuff is increasing, right? So we're using our credit lines, using our credit cards, we're using credit more and not saving enough. So that's why it's important to get that credit literacy so that you can be powerful when it comes to building out new streams of income. How many people want to have another stream of income? Right? Everybody's probably going to raise their hand
Absolutely.
when it comes to that. How many people want another line of income, stream of income? Absolutely. So it can operate as a line, a stream of income, but it's investing into something that is going to get you that return so you can continue to use that credit and let it work for you. So
Kim,
that is the difference in, yes.
you mentioned that line of credit. I got to throw this out there. I am
Hold
a
on.
merchant.
That is the difference. Hold on. Let me finish my sentence. Then we going because I was almost done. That is the difference in good credit, credit being powerful versus credit being dangerous. Okay, go ahead.
Oh, when it comes to that line of credit, I'm an authorized merchant for credit cards and
Mm-hmm.
processors and all that stuff. And I'm working with a young man right now who's moving into the position where his gross billing is going to be over $10,000 a month. That's
Mm-hmm.
not his net. That's not what he's keeping in his pocket. But the credit card company, the processors, will give him after 3 to 6 months of showing $10,000, $500,000 line of credit. Now, this
Wow.
young man, his plan is to purchase a 18 wheeler, the tractor and trailer. That's what he
Mm-hmm.
wanted to go to. So he's
Mm-hmm.
going to be able to do that. He's going to be able to walk into that dealership and pick
Mm-hmm.
out a truck that's $200,000. Get the truck that he wants, not a used truck, not a hand-me-down, not one that's got 1,000,000 miles on it, but brand new. And
Mm-hmm.
he has the experience. He's doing the work. The money is coming in, and he didn't have to ask anybody, just sign on the dotted line. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
that's using credit. There's a lot of things out there like that you can take advantage of.
And that was a great question from Terrence. What credit score will get you that credit or line of credit? And that story that you just shared, James, was, I see why you were so excited to share that story. It's a good story. It's a great example of using credit wisely and the benefits therefore. And so what credit score will get you that credit or line of credit? It varies, Terrence. The credit, you may have a smaller credit line to start off, just like you may have a smaller amount of credit that is given to you with a credit card. But the more you pay it back, just like that example that James just gave, you pay it back, you're wise with it, they feel like they can trust you with it, they'll extend more to you. So that line of credit can grow from $300, $400 to $800 to more. So if you have a lower credit score, then it's going to be a lower amount versus a higher credit score, because like we talked about last week, the credit score is your economic trust factor. But that does not mean that it can't then be extended and grow for you. So that is the answer to that question. Your credit score, we all want our credit scores to be a good score is going to be around 700. They're excellent scores, and that's the 800s, 750 plus. Then we got the poorer scores, going to be in the 5, 6 lower. So if you can be above 670, if you can be above 670, then you should get a pretty decent line of credit. But the higher up your credit score is, the more that they'll extend to you.
And
James,
that
did you have
example I was
anything to
talking
add?
Yeah,
Go
that
ahead.
example I was talking about, it's not even based on credit, it's based
Mm-hmm.
on accounts receivable. So
Mm-hmm.
your credit, you can have a low credit score and still get that line of credit to do what you need to do in business.
Mm-hmm. But he had to do a specific amount of things in order to qualify to get that 500,000. He had to get to a specific point, right? You said 10,000?
10,000 gross. 2, 3,000 won't do it. You got to work your butt
Right.
off.
Yeah. So that's an example of, you got to put in the work in order to get the return. You got to put in the work in order to get the
That's
benefit.
right.
So on that side of things, while the credit score didn't make a difference, there was something that they need to see as far as intention, discipline, commitment, work in order to get to that space. And a lot of these programs that are out here are basically to help people with poor credit scores to build, regardless of what that is. And so the funding opportunities are growing every single day. And so I love that example because it gives us an example of still being able to grow from hard work as opposed to that credit, because most of us lean on that for everything. So
And
one of the go ahead.
I just want to put in there too, because it's so important. I think some people get discouraged easily
Mhm.
by folks telling them, man, your credit bad. You don't need to do that. Or I heard about that. Don't pay attention to those folks. You got to be listening to people saying, yes, you can. You
Mhm.
can do it. And
Mhm.
don't look for ways that it may fail. What if it
Mhm.
don't work? Who cares? Look for things that is going to support you doing what you want to do, that it's going to help you live your dreams. So
Mhm.
if it's not down that road, don't listen. Find somebody that's talking your talk, telling
Mhm.
you you can, telling you
Mhm.
don't give up, telling you I heard about this guy over there who's doing this. Those are the kind of conversations you want to have. We don't have time to entertain people who won't do, who don't believe, who are trapped in a box and don't want to get out. They can't help you. But tuning in to shows like this where people are saying you can do it, there is a way, and keep working until you find a way. If you give up,
Mhm.
you won't get there.
Absolutely. And I don't know if you guys have picked up on the fact that James is definitely a motivational speaker. He, really likes to encourage people to their next level. And so that is what you are going to hear a lot of. And so I want to talk about, because this show is Let's Talk Wealth, this podcast series for the beginning of the year is Let's Talk Wealth. One of the things that I want to do very soon, I'm going to start in February, is do my first class for the year with the debt detox. And so that debt detox, for those who never heard of it, it's a book, 30 Days to Cleansing the Toxic Financial Habits that Hold You Back. This book has helped so many people. And so we're going to do some workshops and things like that, my team and I, in order to be able to expose others to that. I was talking with someone today about a venue and being able to get in person and hands on to be able to do some things concerning that. But what is wealth? What is wealth? Anybody in the comments? And James, we talked about this on the first solo show podcast that I did. What is wealth? Because it's different for everyone, just like financial freedom can be defined in a different way for everyone. So, how do you define wealth for those who are in the comments, for those who catch the replay? And James, how do you personally define wealth?
Um, for me, it's really being able to do what just above normal. I don't like normal. I like to be just above normal. I want to do things in where I'm not looking at the price tag. I'm not bragging. When I want something, I want to be able to get it, whether I
Mm-hmm.
need it or not. I don't want it to be a sacrifice. I want it just because. And I used to want to be a multimillionaire. You know, I
Mm-hmm.
had a good friend. This She's not with us anymore, but I mean, she was a
Mm.
very successful insurance lady. And she
Mm-hmm.
said, when I get married, I don't want to marry a man that only has $1 million. And if he
Mm-hmm.
doesn't know how to get another one and another million and another million, I don't want him,
Mm-hmm.
because you can get $1 million and lose it, but can you get it again? It's all about
Mm-hmm.
residual income, whether
Mm-hmm.
it's 5,000 a month or $10,000 a month or $3,000 a month. And you're working on a job and you got an additional 3,000 that's coming in that's helping you navigate the forest, so you can figure it out that, I'm going to do this instead of. So I think it's about having choices, having the
Okay.
ability to do it and not be stressed to death,
Mm-hmm.
regretting that decision. I can remember going on vacation. Oh, I don't even know if I want to go back. Oh my God.
Yeah.
We spent too much. We spent too
Yeah.
much. I
Mm-hmm.
want those days for people to be behind you, and let's go ahead so that we can make decisions based on what we want to do, how we
Right.
want to live. And
Mm-hmm.
there is a responsibility, you don't got to be crazy, but living a good life is just being able to make some choices without it being a headache for me.
Yeah. Yeah. Terrence, I'm coming. I'm coming to the I'll be coming to the evening group very soon. And thank you for the invitation. What is wealth for those who are in the comments? What is wealth? How do you define wealth? So, James, it sounds to me like you define wealth as freedom,
Oh
being
yeah.
able to have enough money that you can just do whatever you want to do. You may have you got a budget or something that you're working with because you're wise financially, but you don't have to, like, if you want to do something else, you have money allocated to be able to spend how you want to spend and do whatever you want to do. And that is wealth for you. And so it is defined as an abundance of valuable possessions or money. So for many people, that is what wealth is: the state of being rich, which is material prosperity. It's also defined as plentiful supplies of a particular resource. So for many, it could be like a mineral wealth or something like that, and a plentiful supply of a particular desirable thing. And so for some people, it's just well being and prosperity, and that's wealth for them. So, what is wealth? When it comes to finance, wealth is going to be different for everyone. That number
Hmm.
is going to be different for everyone. That lifestyle, I mean, there may be some similarities, but it's going to be different across the board. And so when we talk about let's talk wealth, what we're talking about is creating a foundation in which you can thrive long term, right? You can thrive long term beyond your working capacity. That is what we're talking about. Let's talk wealth. How do we build a generational transfer of money, resources, and materials as a community, as an individual, as a business owner? That's what we mean when we say, let's talk wealth. Let's begin to have the conversation of habits that we need to implement in order to build our communities, build our homes, build our lives, sustain ourselves. That's what we mean when we say, let's talk wealth. So for some, like I said, it's abundance of money, abundance of riches, material things.
And
For
and
you, it could be something totally different. And then Terrence said, do you think people in their 40s are in the best age group to position themselves for wealth acquisition? And we'll answer that in just a second after James, you say what you were going to say.
I want to say this in terms of wealth. We can't fool ourselves either. The purchasing power of a dollar in 1913, a dollar bill, $1 bill could buy 36 Hershey bars. You can't buy a Hershey bar with a dollar today. It will bet. I mean, you can barely buy fries for a dollar at McDonald's now. It's losing its power. So we have to find a way to increase the dollars that we have because they don't buy what they used to. And Charles Schwab, their survey showed that to be comfortable in America, you need $1.4 million. Well,
Mm-hmm.
and if you're going to be wealthy based on their numbers, you need to have something like $2.4 million. Well, if you
Mm-hmm.
don't have it, what are you going to do to get there? It's not impossible. Don't be
Mm-hmm.
afraid of the term $1 million. It's
Mm-hmm.
attainable. And
Mm-hmm.
I just want to put that in there.
A lot of these surveys are very interesting, but I agree. I think I wonder though the parameters of those surveys. So, like, is it $1.44 million in savings and assets, or just that cash value in the bank? Because that makes a difference. That makes a difference to me because many people may have $1.4 million in assets, but they may not have $1.4 million cash value,
Hmm.
cash, right?
That's
And
right.
so I think those are I love surveys, right? But I love for people to tell me the parameters around those surveys so that I can also be able to track and see where I am. But you are so right about the fact that the numbers can seem so big and these things can seem so massive, but we are able to achieve these things when we input and implement the right tools and practices. So love that. And so do I think people in their 40s are in the best age group to position themselves for wealth acquisition? I don't think they're in the best age group, but I think they are able to position themselves for wealth acquisition. I believe that people in their 40s actually also need to realize how great a position they are in, because many of people in their 40s are now in a position where they're thriving in their careers. A lot of times, right around late 30s to mid 40s, we begin to thrive in our careers, begin to make a little bit more money, have more options for savings. Hopefully, we get some more financial literacy and are slowing down a little bit and making smarter decisions by then. And so, it's not the best age group because, just like the saying, what's the best time to plant a tree 20 years ago, but what's the next best time now? So, if you have someone that's in their 40s that's just starting to think through wealth acquisition now, then this is the best time to do it. And there are plenty of opportunities. Many people have 401ks, for instance, that they built on their jobs, but they're just sitting and growing slowly. They can be put into other products that will give them an opportunity for better growth at retirement, right? And they're no longer on those jobs, and those things are just sitting. They're not putting money into it, but they have this retirement, right? So it's just about knowing how to take what we have before us, knowing how to step back and begin to do the hard thing, which is to save, to budget, to plan. I
Hmm.
know we hate that word, but a budget is just a guide. It is like my best boo friend. It is my best boo friend because my budget is showing me that by this particular age, this particular time in my life, I am going to be financially free. That's what my budget is showing me. It's not hindering me, it's empowering me. And so in the 40s, hopefully many of us have gotten that under control. And even as life happens and challenges occur, we understand that there's no time better than the present to move forward and do the things that we have the power to do today, right? We can't go back, but today. So yes, I don't think it's no, I don't think it's the best age group, because if you can start saving and building wealth as a baby, You have $1 million person, when they get to adult age in the right product. Or in your 20s, when you first get out of college and you start working, if you choose that money to save and invest as opposed to buying shoes and stuff I did, I bought all types of clothes. And so that would be the best time. But if this is where they are, they absolutely can build wealth. They can even create a college fund for their children. They can create a retirement plan for themselves. It can absolutely happen. James,
And
did you have anything you want to add to
yeah,
that?
yeah, I think that, understanding the power of now. You talked about the present,
Mhm.
understanding the power now. We have to stop thinking about the past. It's done. We can learn from the past, but we can't really worry about 20 years into the future either, because it hadn't happened. And what's going to happen in the future doesn't matter if you're not fixing right now. If you're not making decisions that's going to better you for tomorrow, then tomorrow doesn't matter. And certainly the past doesn't. So every day when you wake up, be thinking about what you're going to do right now that's going to make my life better, that's going to help my children be better, that's going to help my family be better, to help me reach my goals. And if it's not allowing me to do that, that's a decision that I'm going to push to the side. I'm going to do
Mhm.
something different. I'm going to do something that's going to make a difference today. And the past doesn't matter. The future is great, but I got to do it in the space that I'm in right now, now. And if
Mhm.
we do that every day, tomorrow will get better. Past doesn't matter. We learn from it. We don't make those same mistakes, but let's do it now. And if you don't have the answers, ask somebody. There are plenty of people that are willing to help. There are still people out here who care about people.
Mhm.
And I'm one of them. Kim's one of them. There are, oh man, I've met so many people in the network that we enjoy helping. Get some
Mhm.
help if you don't know. Ask somebody. Let's do it now.
He said, true, true, true. But I think by 40, people are ready, strive mentally and physically because they have made mistakes, but have time to improve because they have the mindset and physical health to be successful as they want to be. Um, True, true, true. But what? I think I'm missing a part of the of what you're saying, Terrence. But if you could clarify that, that'd be great. I definitely think I'm in my 40s, and I definitely believe that where you are now is one of the best places to start from to grow. However, also started saving in my 20s. And so looking at my portfolio or anybody else who started saving early versus somebody who starts saving a little bit later, although it's possible and they can achieve the same goal, they can achieve the same amount, but they just may have to save a little bit more, right? So it might entail more discipline than if you start a little bit earlier. So that was my point. I don't know if you were saying that what I said what went against or what. So if you could clarify. All right, so we are wrapping up. I want to say thank you to all of you who joined this evening as we continue to talk wealth and give winning tips. This evening, we gave tips around credit. We gave tips around wealth strategy. We gave tips around even just motivating you to the possibility that you can make a difference in your life right now, your financial life right now, and make new choices to grow from where you are. We also talked about getting a side hustle. So, getting something that you can do in order to bring extra money into your
Tomorrow.
household in order to create wealth and create more income. So, we talked about a lot. What were you saying about tomorrow?
I say I'm just agreeing with you. Doing it tomorrow, doing it right now.
Doing it
Absolutely.
right now. Absolutely. And we defined wealth as well as financial freedom for us. And I'll leave you with the thought, what is wealth for you? What is financial freedom for you? And what are you doing right now in order to achieve either? And if you're not doing enough or anything, that is something that you want to look at. Like I said, over the past few weeks, I've been speaking with people, I've been having meetings with folks, doing financial needs analysis, trying to figure out if they're on track for where they want to go. And if I'm not your girl, get and sit with somebody in order to help you to get on track to achieving the success, to achieving the win that you can achieve financially. Take some of these tips and apply them. All right. So I'll be back next week with another episode of the Collaboration Culture podcast as we continue the Let's Talk Wealth series. Now, I want to tell you all year long, we are going to be focusing on how to build wealth. We're going to be having other guests come on to really share their expertise. I'm super excited about being able to take the hats that I wear and pour back into my community, and continue to provide you with information and resources that are beyond my capacity, but within my reach. So we appreciate you too so much, Terrence, and anybody else who joined and or caught the replay. I want to thank James Branch for joining me this evening, for all that he does for Coffee and Collaborations Media, as well as Kimberly Winborn LLC and the community at large. So go and check James out, who is also a sponsor of Coffee and Collaborations Media, his company. Go and check out Digital Tour Factory. If you're trying to exponentially grow your business this year to make more money and being more visible, this is the person that you want to reach out to in order to do that and to be successful and not break the bank while
Yep.
doing it. So
Yeah.
go ahead and reach out to him for that consultation. James, what's the information that you would like for me to share in order for others to reach out to you for that?
Um, my website, digitaltourfactory.com. There's a section there to contact me link. You can reach me there. Email contact@digitaltourfactory.com. And you can call me at 919-344-3909. I encourage you to leave a voicemail. I get a lot of phone calls. So if you don't get me, if I don't pick up, just leave a message. I'll get back to you. I guarantee it.
Nice. So digitaltourfactory.com is the website to reach out to James, to get into contact with him. Hopefully you all got that telephone number. He's also on Instagram and Facebook at Digital Tour Factory. So please reach out. I would be remiss if I did not shout out our other sponsor and also branding guru, uh, Elton Benjamin, Business Creative. Elton the I, he is a brand master,
He's a
right?
bad man.
He is brand master. He does all of our Coffee and Collaborations media, branding, design, graphics, all of that. And so reach out to him if you're looking for brand strategy, logos, graphic design, other campaigns. I want to tell you all there's an exciting, very exciting conference that he has coming up. We're working together on called Creative Verse. Creative Verse. So I want you to go and look that up. I want you to go to www.creativeverse.org. I'm going to put that up so you can go check it out and see what I'm talking about. We have an exciting guy in the digital creator space. For those who are in that space, Chris Do, D-O, an exciting guy in that space. So if you're in digital creative space and you're looking for something to grow your business this year, to grow your experience, your expertise, all that stuff, go and check out this website. So that was www.creativeverse.org. All right. So that's Elton Benjamin, the visionary, and the team that is working hard at that. Very exciting. So, once again, thank you all for joining us this evening. Terrence said he's looking forward to sitting down soon, James. So that's awesome. Thank
Okay,
you
let's do
all.
it.
Thank you all so much. Be sure to get your tickets for an evening with Marcel Anderson, the collaboration culture, which is this podcast. The collaboration culture, in collaboration with Date Night by Design, has put together an evening with Marcel Anderson and live band. So You want to be there in the room, in the building. We actually sold out of the VIP tickets. So we had to open up a couple more, but oh my gosh, what an amazing night ahead. So for you Valentine's Day singles, want to do something for yourself, date night, me time, or you couples, make sure to reach out, go to Eventbrite, get your tickets, An Evening with Marcel Anderson. So that's a shout out to all of our sponsors, our events coming up. It's going to be an exciting year ahead, and we are going to tackle this beast called debt, this beast called financial illiteracy, and we're going to do some new and different things this year. Right? Right? Right, everybody? Right. All right. Well, thank you for joining once again. See you all next week. Y'all have a great, blessed evening.
This has been a Coffee and Collaborations media production.